everyone. The organizing committee would like to welcome everyone to the 2020 Euclid High School reunion picnic. It's going to be a little different this year, but hopefully we'll get through it. So let's start off and see where we go from here. Thanks. Okay. All right. Well, let's start out with that little video I had. I guess we can do that.
Oh, Tom made it. Here he is.
I am. Tom
I'd like to
Snyder.
know where Connie. He's been there all along.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so we'll find the video. If anything doesn't work, I'll try to fix it. Here we go.
Through the Euclid High School and Euclid Middle School. This is our secondary campus, which is located just in front of our current high school. This building will house grades 6 through 12, and we're flying around Tracy Avenue right now, facing the middle school. And as we enter here, you'll come to a very secure vestibule. Some of the updates that we're making to the campus will include heightened security, which will include cameras with facial recognition and license plate recognition. We're in the field house right now, and this features 3 basketball courts and an elevated track, and the recreation department will operate right from this facility to run all of its programs right here at the Euclid secondary campus. We're in the middle school dining hall right now, and if you'll take a look on the high side of the video here, you'll see a media center behind the glass, which will also be open to the community. There will be a computer lab there, and we hope to have some interactions with our students and maybe some folks from the senior center to teach them computer skills. We're entering now into the high school, which is separated by the kitchen and a secure door that requires a swipe card access. And if you catch a quick view to your left there, you'll see the mosaic panther that we saved from the old E-room. So we're in the high school dining area, and we're very proud of the options that we're going to be able to provide moving forward to our high school students. There will be hibachi and a panini grill included in the dining hall, and they will have more options than they currently do for lunch, and we'll be able to open afterward from this similar location for activities after school. You're looking at the community restaurant, which we run by our culinary arts, which is adjacent to our auditorium. And as we go into the auditorium, you'll see a beautiful new facility that will house future big shows. And the beauty of this facility will match the talent on display every year during Big Show. As we enter into the high school here, this is where the community will come in. And again, they'll be met by security, will require a license. And once that license is taken once a year for our frequent flyers and frequent visitors of this facility, you'll have a badge issued to you from the Euclid schools, which means you're okay to come in. That way, through our security updates and our cameras and other systems that we put in place, we're going to make sure that those who should be on campus have an ease of entry, and those who shouldn't be have a very difficult way of getting into the school.
Okay,
It's completed. The gymnasium supposedly by law and the auditorium is used by the public. All the citizens of Euclid use the swimming pools, the gymnasiums, and auditorium, so they can't by law knock it down. Everything in between is supposed to go.
Somebody's got to mute their
So maybe they're just remodeling.
Rosemary, Zuzek.
Yes.
Well, Tom Snyder, we started kindergarten together.
Yes, we did with Mrs. Risley.
That's right.
Amazing that we can remember.
Hi, Marcia. I didn't see you.
Hi, I'm gonna take this into art.
Okay.
Oh, great.
I'm gonna walk with it.
Okay, now let's start our go around. I'm still trying to figure out how to talk maybe one I would, but
Are we going to be able to see the people who speak? Because
yeah.
right now,
Yeah.
Yes, I will do. Dude, I will put it in speaker view, so you should be able to. Okay, now I think you guys can hear me, but I can't hear anybody else. So everyone's muted now. And so let's start going through each of us and telling us a little bit about what's going on. I'm going to go in the order that your pictures appear. Like Laura will be first. John and Connie, and then we'll go through the pictures as they appear on my page. So we'll see how that goes. Hi, Art. All right, let's start out with Laura. Well, I'll start out just to give you an idea of what I'm thinking we should go like. So Betsy and I live in Reddington Shores, Florida. We've been pretty much in lockdown mode for the last 6 months. We're still doing the lockdown thing. We get out hopefully once a day and go for a mile and a half walk around our neighborhood. And other than that, we have our groceries delivered. We've been out to Walgreens and Ace Hardware a couple times, but other than that, we're pretty much staying at home. Our big treat for the week is every Saturday night, we go to one of our favorite restaurants for takeout or curbside pickup. And that's our treat for the week. But other than that, not too much going on. We've canceled at least 2 trips up to Chicago because of the pandemic, as well as our annual trip to New York City in November. But since all the TV shows are shut down, the Broadway theaters are closed, there's really no sense in going. So we've got one plan going. We're still planning on going to Chicago over Christmas, over the holidays, if hopefully things will improve by then. So that's what I've been up to. So let's see what everybody else has been doing. So Laura, you want to start off?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Yeah. Thanks so much for doing this. I feel very grateful to just be here. When Connie sent out the list of those who have gone before us, it's a very humbling experience to see all those names. I feel very blessed also to have been raised in the 40s and 50s and 60s. Euclid was a great place to start my life. My sisters and I used to ride our bikes to the Euclid community pool, I think it was called, and that's where we learned swimming. And that's been something that I've kept with all my life. I've been swimming daily a mile for 40 years. I currently live in North Carolina. I've been here for almost 40 years. My husband died with Parkinson's, so I'm a widow. I have 2 grown sons in their 50s. They're all getting so old. I have grandchildren. And I worked for 50 years as an occupational therapist and mostly in hospitals, and I also taught. So I love living in North Carolina. We are still in phase 2. Our governor moved us to phase 2.5, but I've been very blessed in that our Y has been open for swimming. So I've been able to swim every day since May. And today they opened up the gyms. So I've been out, I shop, I'm careful, but I'm doing good. And it's just so good to see all of you. Thank you so much for being here, and enjoy every day.
Thank you, Laura. John, you want to go next?
You got to unmute.
Yeah, it's on mute, John.
Okay.
Oh, good. We hear you.
Good. Dorothy and I are living here in Lanese. We have 3 boys. One lives in Arlington, Virginia, works for the Department of State. One lives in Cuyahoga Falls as a professor at Kent State, and the other one lives in Mayfield Heights. We have 6 grandchildren. We've been staying pretty much at home. I go out shopping a little bit when we need to. My wife has lupus, so she stays out of the crowds, and I try to take care of her. I'm retired from the Lanese Fire Department, put in 29 years there, retired as captain, but I still work a business. I'm a manufacturer's rep, and I sell church steeples and cupolas and church crosses and keeps me busy. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Sounds good, John.
Nice to see everybody. Looking forward to next year.
Great.
Thank you.
Okay, Connie, you want to?
Okay, hi, everybody. I'm so glad you're here. Wish we were wish we were where Chuck was, because I like his background much better. Since I retired, we've been traveling. Not this year, obviously. Missed our yearly trip to New York City, and we were having a big family trip. We were going to Germany and Oberammergau and the Passion Play, and that got canceled. But next year, we'll keep thinking positively. But I do want to say, when I was getting all these emails from you people after the original invite, it's surprising how many people said, I'm not into technology, I won't be doing it. And I think you guys are great. You know, we're not afraid of anything, we're adventurous. And thank you for Chuck doing all this work, because he really did put a lot of time into this.
Thank you.
That's about it.
Okay. All right, Dave. Let's see.
Yes, okay, I'm unmuted.
There you go.
That means I'm loose on the stream here. Here we go.
Yep.
Beth and I are in our retirement at the Willowbrook Community Center here in Delaware, Ohio. I feel like I'm returning to the second longest place I've lived at any one time, or third maybe. Anyway, 3 years at the Methodist Theological School for seminary work. And when I was I did my undergraduate work at Ohio Wesleyan. So coming back to Delaware is returning home. Beth has cancer. It seems to be responding very well to the current treatment. A year ago, she felt she was at death's door and nearly was. The treatment, however, that we got into shortly after the middle of August has done wonders for her. We're both doing well. We try to remain mostly at home here. We get out, walk to our garden plot a little better than a half mile away each day in the evening, and water, collect the vegetables, and do whatever else is necessary. On the way, we are able to wave to other friends within the community on their porches, or out and about on campus, walking on the pathways as well. Beth took disability retirement from her work as pastor of the Marion Salem United Methodist Church. I've been retired now since 2016. I'm really doubly retired because I had 27 years with Ohio public employees working in the field of mental retardation and developmental disabilities as a county superintendent. And then I also have 50 years as ordained United Methodist clergy behind me. Our families are all doing well. We have no children. I do have one stepson, two step-grandchildren that are married, and they each have 2 children. So we have 4 step-great-grandchildren that we enjoy. The last contact we've really had with family was this past weekend. We did go up to a grandniece's wedding at Mentor, Ohio, and safe distance. It was an outdoor wedding, and the reception was really a very small number in a large room, so we were fine. It's good to see so many familiar faces and hear your voices this afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Okay, George, you want to go next?
Hi, everybody. Looking back, I just realized it's been over 8 years since I was last able to make it out there to a reunion. So I tried to put together, at the risk of getting the hook for being too long, I've tried to put together a quick summary of what's been going on in my life for the last 8 years. My wife Cheryl and I are still together after nearly 50 years. We're still based in a small Connecticut town called Weston, Connecticut, where we've lived for the past 35 years, raised 2 kids and 3 golden retrievers. We have 2 grown sons that unfortunately live pretty far away from us. The oldest is 37. He's settled in Riga, Latvia, where he organizes music events. And our youngest is 33, and he spends most of his time basically working for about a dozen international locations around the world as co-founder of a company that offers community-based retreat experiences on 4 different continents. So they got exciting lives, but unfortunately, no grandkids yet. We're hopeful though, because the youngest one just got engaged and plans to have a family at some point. So there's still hope. Career-wise, I've been semi-retired for about 15 years, serving on boards and offering a senior level advisory services, to high-tech companies, mostly with a mid-sized aerospace and defense company in LA that I co-founded as a seed investment during my 20-year venture capital career. I work about 40 to 50% of the time, at least until recently with COVID. And I split the rest of my time between traveling, trying to get out of the New England winters a couple months a year by going down to Southern Hemisphere cities during the coldest times, and sailing and a bunch of other outdoor activities. COVID's kind of put a temporary halt to all of our travel activities and my business commuting to LA, but I've actually really enjoyed the past 6 months working virtually and staying put in Connecticut and exploring all the things in our community and that our state have to offer. We've got a lot of hiking trails and beaches and a lot of outdoor space. We've had safe distance social events and hang out at the beach and backyard pool sessions and barbecues. So it's actually been very, very good compared to what people have to put up with in places like New York City where they're confined to an apartment. I'm not sure what's going to happen when the weather gets cold and we can't sit outside to do that anymore, but so far so good. And last but not least, I was totally flabbergasted to find out that I'd been inducted into the Euclid High School Distinguished Achievement Hall of Fame last spring and came back to Euclid last April for the ceremony. Now, I haven't lived there for over half a century, but I still consider Euclid my hometown. So this award really meant a lot to me. And I'll kind of sign off by thanking Norman Beakey, who I guess isn't on the call today, and Connie, Krnell, Contenza, and everybody else that helped make that happen. It was really a special event for me. Thanks.
Thanks, George. All right, Kathy, you want to go next?
Okay, hi. Thanks, Chuck. As everyone is, thank you for putting this all together. It's really great to see so many of you. Some I don't remember, some I do. But I live in the Lake Tahoe area of Northern Nevada. Retired here from the aerospace industry. I worked at TRW, heading up the contracts organization. And so that was fun in the beach area. Angeles. So I retired here to ski and fish, play golf. And we're fortunate our son and his family live about 4 hours away from Northern California. And don't get to very we did experience a camping time together just last month. So that was good. But, you know, I'm actually enjoying, I hate to say this because so many people are struggling financially and otherwise, but I'm enjoying this time at home because I have just been so busy volunteering in various charitable organizations. And there's always been so many meetings and events. And so I'm glad they're all came to a halt, as well as our travels. My husband and I like to travel a lot. And so we've been sticking at home pretty much, and I've really enjoyed that. Thank goodness our golf courses are open, so we're playing golf as much as we can. And I'm really actively involved in local and state and national politics, and we just recently spent an awful lot of time on one of our friends was running for a local office, and so working on his campaign was like a full-time job. But the county that I live in has only 50,000 people, but I'm happy to say that President Trump visited us just last Saturday to have a rally. So we were on the map because he came to visit. So anyway, I'm glad to hear everyone's doing as well as they are, and I'm really happy to be alive and to be living here. So thanks again, Chuck, for putting this together.
Thank you, Kathy. Good to see you. All right, now we'll go to Dorothy and get her unmuted and we'll be all set.
Okay, I'm Dorothy Huston. I'm married to John, who graduated with you folks. I graduated with the class of 64, as he talked to you earlier about what he has been doing. I'm really have been in the house most of this year since the COVID. I have lupus, and he has been my nursemaid for the whole time I've been in. He's a wonderful husband. I've really enjoyed coming to your class events more than going to my own, because John and I have been high school sweethearts since I was in the 7th grade. John and I are kind of unique in our situation. My older sister married John's older brother. So we have known each other since probably I was like in the 5th grade. So John's mother used to say to my mother, "I'm saving my Johnny for your Dorothy." And my mother would say, "Oh, no, you're not." And as it became, I sure and heck married John. John and I have been married for 55 years now. And we are sure looking for another, I want to say 55, but I don't think that will happen. But we sure love each other dearly. And he has been a wonderful husband for me. And I sure enjoy coming to your class events. Everybody has been so kind and just so much fun. And I sure appreciate all the cordial attention I get from your class, more than my own. Needless to say, I know more people in your class than I know in my own. And thank you for all your kindness. Thank you.
Thank you, Dorothy. Okay, where are we at now?
Mardy.
Yes, let's go to Mardy.
Okay. Well, first I have a written message here dictated to me by Nancy Bailey Jackson Walt, who is not able to be with us today. And a few of you know this, but last year she went through several very severe surgeries starting in March and had a rough time. But she is a determined lady, as she has always been, and a friend since 7th grade. But she went through, she electively went through some surgeries on August 25th. The second round of surgeries are successful. The progress is quite slow, so she is not joining us today because of the timing of some things. But at any rate, she said the happy news in the last couple of months, her granddaughter was married in July, and they were able to find a church in Cleveland Heights. Nancy was in Kent, by the way. But they were able to find a church in Cleveland Heights that was so huge that we could have more than 100 people and all still social distance. So we were able to attend that, and it was lovely. They're very happy. She also is the happy grandmother of 5 children, all of whom are adults now. And she has, I don't know if anybody beats this, 4 great-grandchildren, 3 girls, and just last month, a boy was born to another one of the grandchildren. So she says life is good, and she wishes she could be here with everyone. I also wanted to make sure we thank Chuck, which everybody's doing that, but also the committee, because Connie, Mary, and I don't know, the Curtises, who else was involved in this, but thank you for trying to get us all together again. As for me, some of you know this, but not too many. I left Euclid in '62. After we graduated, my family moved to the Columbus area, and I have to tell Dave Mansperger, now that you just said this, my father, in his later years, he died in 2008, but he was at Willowbrook. So I'm very familiar with where you're living, and it was a wonderful place after my mother passed before him that he was able to extend his life, being a severe heart person since he was 48 years old. So I like that Willowbrook place. I think it's a marvelous, marvelous facility. I went to Connecticut right away to be a teacher in Greenwich, was there for 3 years, and then came back to the Columbus area. And when Mike and I got married, Dane, we lived at north of Columbus, and I taught school in Worthington for another 3 years. Then we came back up to this area after Mike finished law school, and that was in 1972. I always say I taught for 100 years, and I was a principal for the last 5 of a little elementary school, and then I retired, and Mike retired the year later. So we have 2 kids. Our son lives in the Chicago area. He actually is why, Gloria, I'm in a place where I have a glare at my back, because he works for Deloitte, and he was working remotely a lot. And he said, you know what? I would like to get out of my condo here and come home where we live in Kirtland, where there's greenery and sunshine and fresh air and no riots. Those were going on a little bit ago. So he's been here. He took over my office upstairs. And so I'm in the dining room adjusting to all kinds of things. But so our son and our daughter, who is now married with 1 grandson, our only grandchild, and they live in Hudson, Ohio. She teaches English at Kent Roosevelt High School, so the education thing kind of continues. What else? I think that's about it from us. We're in Kirtland. We're happy. We were married 50 years a year ago, but some of you have got us beat because we got married later than some of the rest of you guys. And COVID curtailed our vacations that we've done for years. We always go up to the Shaw Festival in Canada. And this year, since that was curtailed and family reunions were curtailed and all that, we decided to tackle a big landscaping project in our area of the yard where nothing would grow, blah, blah, blah. So we're just finalizing that this week. It's taken, because of the weather, a couple of months actually, but it's been worth it. And I now have volunteered usually with things around gardening, and took the Master Gardener training, and also down at the Cleveland Botanical Garden, did work for quite a while, but that's sort of slowed down, but that's okay because the grandchild came. And during COVID, I have to say, kind of like Kathy did, that we're very thankful. We have shelter, we have retirement funds, we have electricity, running water. And even though I miss we miss the person-to-person contact with a lot of friends and people like Connie, lunches and all that kind of thing, we're very, very thankful that we are where we are. And I always say we got through the 60s turmoils. We're going to get through this too. Hi, everybody. Good to see you all. Thanks.
Thanks, Marty. Okay, thank you, Marty. Now let's move on to Paul. There you go, Paul. Yep.
Yeah. I was trying to follow an order, and I guess I was a little out of order, but thank you. My wife and I live in Aurora, Ohio, and I will say we both belong to the church in Aurora, and so does Art and Marcia Newman. I'm really glad to see Art with us today, and hi, Marcia. They'll get a chance to talk a little bit later. But basically stayed in the east side of Cleveland, lived in Euclid, lived in Mayfield. Now I live in Aurora, so I've stayed on this side of town. A couple of claims to fame. One is that I'm the only graduate of our class that went on to John Carroll to graduate. Bill Castrovinci started there his freshman year, but he didn't stay long. But as far as I know, nobody else in our class graduated from Carroll. In fact, they did it so well, I went back and got my master's there, so I graduated twice from John Carroll. Second claim, maybe to fame, is I spent 35 years in public education. As a school counselor, English teacher, school counselor, and a school administrator. As a school counselor, my most famous counselee was Halle Berry. Unfortunately, I advised her to go into education, and she took a different route, as you know. I really enjoy retirement. After I retired from the Bedford schools, I worked part-time for 15 years for Ashland University. So I guess I ended up with 50 years in education. And now I'm enjoying retirement. We're in Florida. We get to go to Florida every year for 2 months. Unfortunately, this past year, we were in Florida when the COVID hit. And March 24th, we decided to leave because everybody that we talked to was worried about what was going to happen. So we drove home quickly in 2 days, and then we hunkered down for quite a while, for several weeks, and had our meals delivered and stayed inside. And when things calmed down a little bit, we're very fortunate. We like to golf, and I've been golfing outside my own cart, and I'm outside. And my wife and I like to walk a lot, so we get out and we walk and try to kind of keep things very, very calm. One of my best friend from Nicholas Avenue, met him when I was 3 years old. He wrote a book about Euclid. It's this book here. It's a post-war promise kept growing up in Euclid, Ohio in the 1950s. It's a good book about Euclid, Ohio, and growing up, I enjoyed it. In fact, he dedicated one of the chapters to me. I'm the Pauly in chapter 3, but it's a good book. The only negative about this is he didn't go to Euclid, he went to St. Joe's. And we had a tough rivalry when he was at St. Joe's, and I'd come home from the Euclid St. Joe game, and him and his buddies are standing out there waiting for me to get home and tell me about the games. But we are enjoying life. I'm hope very healthy. I hope that things can continue, and I'm really glad that I had a chance to talk to people here at the reunion. Chuck, thank you for all your work on this too.
Thanks, Paul. Good job. All right. How about Barb Harper? Yeah, there you go.
Hey, it's my turn. Hi, everyone. You're all adorable to me, so thank you. It kind of refreshes my life. And thank you so much, Chuck and Connie. I'm so glad I'm on this Zoom call. So life is good. I live in Atlanta, Georgia, in a historical community called Cabbagetown. I've had a wonderful careers in corporate, etc. Have a grown family, 8 grandchildren, all that. The couple of interesting things that have happened. My middle son, who was lost in high school, I didn't know what he was going to do, that type of child, opened up a bar when he was about 25, and he asked his family to join him. So I've been working at a bar for the last 12 years, Milltown Tavern, which keeps you young. Okay, so that's been interesting. The other part of my life is we've lived all over the world. We're a military family, so I have an affinity for France, and I go to Paris about 6 months. I have a second home in Paris. So if you ever go to Paris, check me out. I'll be happy to show you around. I want to our fellow high school graduates. Her name's Cheryl Pasquale Lane. Cheryl Pasquale and I were best friends in high school, and we got in this routine that we sent a birthday card to each other every year. I wish I had saved them all. Some were comical, some were serious, etc. But you know, that means I had over 50 cards if I had saved them. Well, my mom is going to be 100 October 15th. We're very fortunate that she is healthy and etc. But Cheryl has taken her on as her friend. So for the last 10 years, I don't get a card every month. I don't get a phone call, but my mom does from Cheryl. Cheryl has just been very priceless. And the other day, to top it off, and that's why I wanted to share this story, she sent my mom flowers for her birthday. So thank you, all of you. The Euclid High School connection means the world to me. So love being with all of you.
Thank you, Barb. Okay, Rosemary.
Hi, everybody. I'm going to give you a rundown from 1962.
Jim.
I went to college and taught in Ohio for 5 years. Moved to Cambridge, Massachusetts for 5 years. Lived in Central West New Jersey for 5 years. And then moved to Bucks County, Pennsylvania, where we were there for 27 years. Now for the last 10 years, we've been in Asheville, North Carolina, the other end of North Carolina from Laura. And we chose this area to move to because of the strong arts and music communities there. Ed and I both have eclectic tastes in music, and unfortunately with the virus and everything, it has really put the dumps on art performances and stuff, which we really regret. But also like the creative way that everybody's been able to circumvent, just like we have with this. So thanks, Chuck and Connie. It's always nice to get those emails every year, even if we can't keep up with everybody. This was really a good solution. We're of course retired. No kids, one cat. That's it.
Sad.
Okay. Thank you, Rosemary. And let's go to Gloria now.
I'm unmuted. Okay, I've moved since last time you saw me because the light outside got nice, and I thought I'll sit in the garage and talk to you, even though I don't think you can tell I'm in the garage. Can't see my husband's lawnmower in the background. But anyhow, let's see. I've been also staying in the house due to COVID, restricting my activities, which is hard to do when you're a photographer, especially when you have to photograph somebody. So I've limited my photography this year, did just a few and didn't catch anything so far. I have 3 sons and I have 6 grandchildren. My husband and I together have 14 grandchildren. They're graduating from high school and college and 2 at a time. So 2 of them went to Ohio State this year. One's already there this year. We have 2 more that are 16, on and on and on. We've got a lot of kids, keep us busy. What else? Take care of the yard. We stay around the house. I try to cook something good for dinner. We grow a garden. I try to make, we were growing green peppers, so I made stuffed green peppers, tomatoes, things such as that. And having fun. I keep in touch with my water aerobics group, even though I don't go to the pool anymore. I also keep in touch with my Mahjong group, which I don't play that anymore. But it's really nice to see everybody's face and their name, because I didn't go to school as much as you guys did, because I was in the hospital for 2 years. But I recognize a lot of you, and it's really fun to see you. And it's very nice of you, Chuck, for having this.
Thanks, Gloria. I do wedding photography on a part-time basis. I've only had 1 wedding since the pandemic started, so that's, you know.
My stepson went to a wedding, and he picked up the corona, and his girlfriend was the maid of honor, and he was sick for 2 weeks, and he's doing fine now. And then my son, my oldest son, Roke, him and his wife and his son all got it. 2 of their daughters are at Ohio State. 1 daughter is at home. She never got it. She had to stay in her bedroom. And they live in Aurora, and they're all well now, and everybody's doing fine.
Good to hear. Okay, thank you, Gloria. And let's go to JoAnn.
Oh, hello. I have to unmute, right? Okay.
You're okay now. I think you're all set.
Oh, okay. Hi, everybody. Chuck, thank you again. Connie, everyone that helped with this. It's a wonderful idea. Like everyone else, we've been in with COVID, grocery store, and meeting up with friends. Gloria and I happened to see each other because we're in that Mahjong group together. And so we meet at a park, and everybody sits apart from each other. We bring lunch and we sit and chit chat, and that's been our socializing for the past few months. We have 6 grandchildren. I'm married a second time. My husband's name is Frank, and we live in Painesville, Ohio, in a condominium. We lived in Florida for almost 14 years in Port Charlotte, that just was hit by hurricanes, I think Sally or something like that. When we were there, we were hit with Hurricane Charlie. So I was not that fond of Florida. Sorry to say, it was too hot for me. So I'm glad to be in Ohio. The weather's gorgeous. And I miss our lunches, ladies. I miss seeing each and every one of you. So thanks again. And Everybody stay healthy, please.
Thanks, JoAnn. All right, Jim.
JoAnn. Who said that?
Well, I'm here. Yes, can you hear me okay? Thank you, Chuck.
Yeah, we hear you.
All righty. Wow, it's been great to listen to everyone so far, and it's, I guess one of the outstanding things that we've done here is that I'm actually a newlywed. My wife and I have been married a little over 3 years now, and we have a home in Marysville, not far from David, and certainly anyone in Columbus area as well. So Marysville is a great place to be. But the exciting thing that we have done over the last year is that we bought a home, our condo, in Northport. So JoAnn, we weren't very far from Port Charlotte. So that we are looking forward to going back down there in October, spending 5 months down there with 1 dog and 4 cats. So we're looking forward to that very much, planning that trip. I have 3 daughters, all of them living in the area except one in Seattle with her Air Force Master Sergeant. He's a career Air Force. And 5 grandchildren, now I think about it, 4 of them boys, 1 girl, but all doing well. I spent my life in manufacturing the first 25 years, and then in community service after that. I keep active with golf every day, do that 18 holes, like to walk, so I carry and walk during that time as well. So I'm kind of busy doing that. Then also I have a lot of volunteer projects, as some of you may have known. I do a distribution of toys during Christmas with an organization that I've been with for nearly 20 years. Also another organization I work with that helps people stay in their homes longer, called Neighbor to Neighbor. So it's a great time for us here. Again, though, we look forward to our Florida trip and getting back to the swimming pool across the street and be able to enjoy it. So for all those who do visit Florida during the wintertime, give it a look forward to seeing any and all of you. So thanks again for all you do. That's it, Chuck.
Thanks, Jim. Yeah, all right. How about Bill Amato?
Well, I've been retired 20 years. I retired early to take care of my wife, and she's still doing pretty good. So that retirement came in handy, and I'm glad to be where I'm at. I'm currently living in Avon Lake, Ohio. We sold our house in Chardon and bought this house all within 1 month, almost 2 years ago, December. I have a son that's an engineer, and he likes cars, and I get a chance to drive some of the cars or ride with him. I have a lot of really interesting hobbies, and Tai Chi is one of them. I worked with some of the elderly people at Menorah Park in Beechwood. I'm fascinated with dementia and Alzheimer's, and I like to work with those people. And you can actually teach someone with Alzheimer's if you spend enough time with them and they have enough confidence in you. I think a lot of things in this world are really taken for granted, and this virus that we're all working with right now has brought us back home and started us cooking meals once again in the kitchen and getting back to the basics. We've had some hardships in our life. Our granddaughter died of a heroin overdose about 1.5 years ago, and our daughter died 8 months later with a heart attack. So we know hardships and we know good times also. And we take both in stride and try not to get too wound up with either one, with the good times or the bad times. But where I'm at right now, I can look out the back window and there's a wooded area with lots of trees, and we can see the nature with deer going by and other animals. And I'm just glad to be alive. I'm glad to see your faces. And some of you, I would probably walk right by you if I didn't know your name, if you didn't tell me in advance. But others like Gloria Murphy and Dennis Coy and Marty Church, they haven't changed at all. And I think everyone would agree you could spot them a mile away and still recognize them. I really appreciate what you did here, and I didn't expect to get back on here. I was being very quiet and thought maybe I could just sneak through this interview and not be interviewed myself. I thought I'd want to hear everyone else's stories, and I think we all have fascinating stories to tell, and we don't necessarily think that they're all that exciting, but when you stop and listen to some of the people and some of the accomplishments and some of the difficult times they have gotten through. Some of those people that have had cancer issues and fought real hard and are still alive. And there's a lot we can learn from each other. And I'm very grateful to be alive. I'm very grateful to have gone to Euclid High School and graduated in '62 with the rest of you guys. And keep me in mind, keep me in your thoughts and prayers, and I'll do the same for you. How's that? Goodbye.
Will do. Thank you very much, Bill. All right, let's see the Virnelsons.
We just came after Bill, and he talked about people that haven't changed. I have to tell a quick story about Bill. Several years ago, we were at the Little Mountain Folk Festival, and there was Bill sitting on a bale of hay, and I went up to him and I said, I think we went to high school together. They didn't recognize me, but we quickly established that, lo and behold, we really had been classmates. But he just looks the same. Anyhow, Betsy and I just celebrated our 55th wedding anniversary. And it's amazing that she's put up with me for all these years. Our passion over the years has been travel. And it's interesting because we've never really moved. I mean, the last 39 years we've lived here in Chesterland, just 5 houses from Bill and Marcia Fuchs. Anyway, I'll let Betsy talk here.
Well, you said a lot of it. We actually met in 10th grade when we were 15 years old. So I think the more amazing thing is that he's put up with me all of these years. But, what can I say? He mentioned travel. If it were a normal year, which of course it isn't, we would be in the midst of packing to go to Morocco and Tunisia. We have traveled a lot internationally, and I am missing it terribly. So we're planning on going next year. However, the clock is ticking and we keep getting older, and this is adventure travel that we do. It's not sit on a bus travel. And so whether our bones and our joints and the rest of those things will still work a year from now, I don't know, but we're hopeful. We have 2 kids, a son and a daughter. They live in the area, and we have 4 granddaughters. The oldest is 28, she's married. The second oldest is getting married. She's 26 and getting married in December. The third oldest just got married in May, and the youngest is 14. So we don't have any greats yet, but I'm not sure if anybody's planning on having any either. I don't think we have any influence over any of that. During this time of isolation, we've been pretty good. We wear our masks all the time. We do all right stuff. We don't go to stores too often. He's out a little bit more than I am. He's still doing his business, and it picked up again, which is great. He sells microscope slides with a special coating that he has patent for, that he has been doing for, 20 or so years?
22 years, yeah.
And so that's really still going pretty nicely. And I retired. I'm a nurse, a registered nurse, and I retired from the last 24 years. I worked at a church as parish nurse and director of care and prayer ministries. And I loved that. And so I'm still involved in those kinds of things. So I've sent out probably dozens of cards. One of our regular stops has to be the post office, but mainly to people that we're not seeing much anymore, or people that are shut in, people who are having health issues and things like that. And that's been kind of rewarding, because some of those people, like Nancy, write back to me, and I feel like I know her better now than I ever did before, which is very, very cool. She's such a sweetheart. And lots of phone calls. I'm still actually able to see a couple of our shut-ins from the church because they live in their homes. So we can meet outside, and so that's not restricted. But I'm getting kind of tired of being kind of curtailed. And but like others of you have said, there are things that we don't have to worry about, which I'm very grateful for. And to my knowledge, our kids are doing okay, and our grandkids are doing okay, and everybody's tired of the virus, but everybody has also been safe, and I'm really grateful for that. So anyway, this has been kind of fun, and you probably have more to say now.
I just had one other thing on the Zoom front, that unfortunately or fortunately, I probably have 3 or 4 Zoom meetings a week.
Oh, yeah.
And I taught my last course at Case Western Reserve University in the spring. And of course, I had to do the last 6 weeks of the course doing Zoom. And I have opted out, and I think I am taught my last college course at Case.
So I think that's about it.
Yeah.
Ah,
Good seeing
I see.
everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Yes.
All right, Dennis, I think you're up next. There you go.
Hi, everybody. Hello, everybody. Thanks, Chuck. Thanks to the
Hello.
committee. Just an update after graduation, Vietnam veteran. I won't go that far, but Vietnam veteran, 2 children. Youngest son passed away in 2014 of cancer. 2 grandchildren who are now down at The Ohio State University. The granddaughter's sophomore, grandson freshman. Both in the business school, doing well. Son is doing well, and daughter-in-law doing well. We're doing very well, and I would like everybody to come to Euclid if they can and when they can. Get back to the old homestead and hometown, travel around. And we basically hang out in downtown Euclid. When we do travel, we travel northeastern and western Ohio, going to different places as far as Marblehead, Sandusky, Geneva on the Lake, in that area. Last big trip, we went to Washington, D.C. back in September last year, visiting relatives in the area. We're all doing well. And as far as the high school and education project, I believe the middle school's completed. When we walk by, we peek in all the windows and all the desks and everything are in place. It's going to be a beautiful campus. It really is. Once they complete the high school and get all the amenities down and landscaping down. A few people in Euclid didn't want this, but it's a necessity. Thank you again for the committee. Thank you, Chuck. Glad to see everybody is healthy and doing well. Hopefully next year, face to face.
All right. Thanks, Dennis. All right, Bill.
Well, it's been interesting to listen to all of your comments. Some of them actually brought me to tears. It's been a long time since we've been together. And in that time, a lot has happened. I went to DePaul University, got a bachelor's degree. Went to Michigan State, almost got my master's degree. I did not complete my thesis, so I have to be honest about that. Everybody, when I say I went to Michigan State for my master's, they say, well, but you didn't finish. Well, I didn't. In that I was an urban planner. I came back to Cleveland and practiced planning for many municipalities. Went to Washington, D.C. to set up an office for my company. Came back to Cleveland. And then I switched careers. I moved into product management, worked for such companies as French's and SCM, and then Scripto, the writing instrument company, took me to Atlanta. And we spent 11 years there where my kids basically, I have two children, Aaron and David, boy and a girl. And that's where they basically grew up. It was a great time. From that point, I got a promotion and moved to North Carolina. And at that point, I got a further promotion that took me, I was working for Eastman Kodak at that point, and went to Florida, where I've been for the last 22 years. My son went to the Air Force Academy, and Erin went to, where did she go? That's one of those things that happens to your brain, and a moment later, I'll think of where she went. I have 3 grandchildren. The oldest is 22, middle one is 19, and the youngest is 13 with my daughter. Everyone's doing well, though my grandson just came down with the COVID virus, but he's 19, he's gonna do fine, I'm not worried. Met my wife at DePaul University. And we've been married, or were married for 49 years. I lost her 4 years ago. It's been an interesting event. I knew her for 5 years beforehand. And after she passed, I met a wonderful man and have been in a relationship with him for 3 years. It's been the best thing in my life as well, to have 2 wonderful partners. I retired and then worked rehabbing houses, and then all my financial worth got blown up with a couple bad investments. So I've gone back to work again, and I have been in the insurance business doing quite well for the last 2 years. Life has been precious, and I think everybody knows that. COVID is just something we're all going to have to endure, and we'll get through it because we are a strong country and comprised of very strong people. So that's it. That sort of brings you up to date with what's going on with Bill Gauch.
Thank you, Bill.
You're good.
Okay, Carol.
Thank you to the committee, and I think you guys are doing a great job. This is fun. Bill, congratulations on what you just talked about. It takes a lot of guts. Good for you. I'm glad things are going well. Life in Rockford, Illinois, which is where we've been now for about 38 years, is pretty easy, basically. Especially with COVID, we've done nothing. We also like to travel, so this has really put a kink in that. When I retired 8 years ago now, I retired being the executive director of a local hospice, and I got into nonprofit management probably 30 years ago. So I spent most of my career doing nonprofit management. And for those of you that have been in management, you know the trials and tribulations that go along with that. So I think it aged me, a lot faster than if I'd stayed in teaching, which is where I had been. We have 2 children, no grandchildren. We raised 2 very independent people who don't want to get married and don't want to have kids. So, we'll just take them for what they are. When Connie sent the list out of those that have died, of course, Ruth Halderman's name was on that list. And many of you don't know this, but Ruth and I were very, very close once we got out of high school. And I just miss her like crazy. And those of you that did know her, you know what a kook she was. And Ruth would do anything at any time. And we were fortunate enough to, over the years, be with her and her family 27 different times. We counted them up one time. And different times we would take vacations together, or, she would come here or we would go there. So because of her, we got to travel a lot because she lived all over the world. So I just want to give a shout out to my good friend Ruth, and I know she would be here if she could. She really had it difficult the last couple of years of her life. There really isn't a whole lot more. We just hang in there. We're trying to be safe. We're hoping this country gets steered in the right direction pretty soon, because things are getting just totally out of hand. And I hope all of you just stay well. So thank you.
Thanks, Carol. Yeah, we moved to the Chicago area in 1975, into the Barrington area. So we've been to Rockford on many occasions, that area.
Oh, really? Yeah. Anybody that wants to come to Chicago, we're only 90 miles, almost directly west of the city. And we used to go to Chicago a lot. Now, obviously, we don't. But yeah, just, give us a yell and we'll meet you, or you can come out to Rockford. Love to see you.
Sounds good. All right. Thank you, Carol. Okay, where are we at now? Oh, how about Doris? Yeah, you're all set, Doris.
Am I on?
Yep,
Hi,
you're on.
everybody. Thanks for sharing your stories. They're beautiful. They really are. I'm here in Leesburg, Virginia, which is 26 miles west of DC. I've been here 9 years. I moved here after my husband of 43 years passed away. He worked for the United States Geological Survey, so I said I was a USGS groupie for 43 years. And during that time, I was in education. I started out in elementary, and I was in special education, early intervention, special education in various capacities, from the classroom, a first grade classroom, to a university adjunct. So it's been a very rewarding, interesting, rich experience. I have 2 children. They both live in Virginia. I have 3 granddaughters, and I have 1 great granddaughter who's just adorable. She's 5 years old. Kind of keeping, a low profile with the COVID. Had a plan to travel to Turkey. Very interested in history, ancient history, early civilizations, and I travel primarily with Rhodes Scholar. I don't know if you're familiar with that or not, but it's outstanding. And also have done intergenerational with Rhodes Scholar. Last summer, I took my 1 granddaughter. We went to Zion, Bryce, and the Grand Canyon. It's an outstanding program. Anyway, it's good to see everybody. Oh, I do, in addition to traveling, I bike. Today I biked along the Potomac River on the C&O Canal, and I try to hike also. So nice seeing everybody, and thank you for sharing your stories.
Thanks, Doris. Okay, Sue, I think you're up next.
All right, we left Ohio and moved to Yuma, Arizona for 2 years, then moved up to British Columbia for 2 years, finally settled in Oregon, and we took a lot of hiking trips to, Iceland, Italy, Hungary, a few others, and then finally came back home and decided that was enough traveling, bought forest land out here, which we were very happy to have during COVID, since we can get outside all the time, until a week ago, when Oregon decided to catch on fire, and we were just below Mount Hood, and 2 miles from us was evacuation. Another 2 miles in the other direction was level 2, which was between get out now and get ready to leave. Fortunately, the fires have moved off to the west a little bit, but we're still packed. We were without power and water for a week. Camping at home after the second day is no fun at all. We finally got our lights and running water back Friday night. Happy, except for one thing. I could see my kitchen floor. Oh, what a mess. Anyhow, we're thankful that we and so many friends are safe. Unfortunately, we have a lot of friends that are now living in campgrounds and shelters, and they have no idea if they're going to have a home to go back to. So I hope. We love it here. We've been happy. And COVID right now, I don't even think it's on any Oregonian's mind. There are fires everywhere. I'd open my window and you should be able to see Mount Hood behind me. And all you're going to see back there is smoke. We aren't even going outside most of the time because it is so bad. They've evacuated some of the towns, not because of fire, but because of smoke. And they aren't predicting any rain. Who knows when? And until we get rain, there's going to be no relief. So don't come to Oregon. Anyhow, we had a beautiful time and miss a lot of people. I'm missing some of the people I would have liked to have seen here today. And I hope they are well. And glad to see a lot of faces. Some of you I knew, some I didn't. I wasn't a real popular person in school. I was too young. I was one of the youngest students. And I was a slow mature. So I really didn't do well in school. But fortunately, I did grow up and I've had a pretty happy life. And I hope all of you have too. So glad to see you. So long.
Thank you, Sue. Now, let's see. Okay. Okay, we got Bob Shepard and Barry on my screen, and Barry's after Bob. We'll go to Bob Shepard next, and then Barry Ross will be after him. Now,
good. It's good to see all of you. I'm surprised, as others had said, how many you don't know and how many you do know. And I've known the longest was Mardy Church over there. And Mardy, as a compliment, you look like your mother. And I always thought your mother was a beautiful woman. Mardy used to live 5 doors away from me. And then others I've known for a while too. After high school, I went away to The Ohio State University, took a commission in the Army, went to Fort Meade, Maryland for 2 years. I fought the war in Maryland. I did not go to Vietnam, so I'm sort of guilty about having stayed there. After that, I went to Miami for 25 years, Tampa for 5 years, Houston for 5 years, Atlanta for 3 years, Houston for 5 years, 10 years, and I've been in Atlanta now for another 7 years. So I was in industrial sales. I sold filters for the air and gas industries, calling on chemical plants and things like that there. Also hospitals and anybody that had an air conditioner, and there are a lot of them in Houston. If you've never been to Houston, I want to tell you that Houston has 2 seasons. It has summer and it has August. So, my wife and I, Blanca, we live here in north side of Atlanta. We got 3 kids, 3 grandkids. I stay active by, I golf a couple of times a week. Go to the gym with my buddies 3 times a week and do the house cleaning 1 day a week and the honeydews on another day. And, you know, that's how it is. Wife's got me figured out. What do you guys, the guys was talking about golfing 7 days a week. If you haven't golfed in Atlanta, I want you to know that even riding in a cart in Atlanta, you'll get 9,000 steps in and 17 flights of stairs. So I get my exercise that way. I'm really happy to see all of you. I think you guys did a great job in putting this together. As I told Chuck before, must have been a bad day to get started doing all this. But that's it for me. I'm just happy to be here. I saw that list, by the way, those that passed, 148 names. As I recall, we had 707 in our graduating class. So that's 20% now, I guess, you know. And the last list that came out this year, there were a couple of names on there, the people that I was very close to it a couple of times, and it was really sad and hard to get over that. But I wish you all Godspeed's health, and hope to see you again next year. That's it.
Thank you, Bob. All right, now it's time for Barry.
Let's see, after graduation, I went to Ohio State, and then I went to the Berklee School of Music in Boston. And when I finished all that stuff, I moved to New York. I lived there for about a year trying to break into the music business, which I did. I was on the road with a couple of few name bands and got drafted, spent a couple of years in the Army. And then I had a whim. On a whim, I wanted to go to Europe. I had some friends in Germany, so I went to Germany, and Word got around real fast that I was there. I didn't know that I was so popular, and I started working right away as a musician. Played in some jazz clubs and studios, and then I got an offer to go to West Berlin as the lead trombone player in a staff orchestra at the radio and television in the American sector of West Berlin. And I eventually became the musical director at that station, and I was in Berlin for 23 years. I was there when the wall came down, and a couple of years after that, I moved back to the States. I moved to Las Vegas, and I live there now. And when I got to Las Vegas, I taught at the university for a short time, but teaching is really not my thing. And I started working with a lot of headliners that were still alive at that time: Frank Sinatra, Tony Bennett, Robert Goulet, Jerry Lewis, and the list goes on. And in I believe it was 1996, I became musical director of the Nevada Jazz Orchestra. And I was musical director of that orchestra until everything kind of crumbled here. And there is no more music business. There's no more live music. So I guess I've become a dinosaur. So since COVID hit, I haven't really done much. We go to the supermarket when necessary. I exercise, I watch TV, I read. When I'm too hot, I go out in the back and jump on our pool and paddle around for a while. And that's about it. And thanks a lot, Chuck, and thanks, Connie, for organizing this whole thing, because I have not seen most of you since we graduated in '62. I went to one reunion, our 40th reunion, 40-year reunion. I think that was in 2002. No, it had been. My math is correct. And that was about it. So thanks a lot, guys. It was great seeing everybody.
Good to see you, Barry. Okay, I think we're up to Tom.
Hey, Tom Snyder. After I graduated in '62, I went to Ohio Wesleyan along with David Mansperger, and he's the classmate I stay in regular touch with. I envy his ability to grow a beard, which I don't have. I went to Boston University for seminary, and on Wednesday, my 50th reunion from seminary is going to be virtual. So I have 2 reunions in 1 week here. I served churches in the East Ohio Conference, United Methodist Churches, for 35 years. And after I retired from the parish in 2005, I taught at 2 seminaries as an adjunct for 15 years. And I just retired this summer from doing that. And I discovered that the adage, you can't teach an old dog new tricks, is not true, because I ended up teaching 2 classes, preaching a sermon, and doing a Bible study all on Zoom. And I swore I would never teach online. So don't ever say never. I also went to Ohio Wesleyan with Jan Slaby, and when I saw her at our 50th reunion, I asked her what she had done her whole career, and she said she was a chemist. And I said, I'm not surprised, because she was my lab partner in Mr. K's chemistry class. And I said, if it weren't for her, I would still be taking chemistry at Euclid High School. So I've been married for 50 years. My wife Kitty and I celebrated our 50th anniversary in May. We were going to take a Viking Paris to Normandy cruise in August. So right now we have a very large savings account with Viking Cruises, and we hope to do that next year. We have 2 boys. Andrew and his family live in Columbus. He has our oldest 2 grandchildren. Thomas is 15 and Zoe is 12. And our youngest son, Peter, lives in Loudonville, Ohio, just down at the other end of our county. I live in Ashland, Ohio. And he and his wife are both teachers, and they have our youngest 2 grandsons who are 5 and 11. And our 5-year-old grandson, Liam, was having a little trouble re-entering school. So every morning his mommy drops us off at our house at 7:15, and we have breakfast and play a game or go for a walk. And then I drop him off at Montessori school. So our get up when we want to have an easy morning has taken on a new look just in this past week. My wife and I are involved with 2 different churches here in Ashland. I served one back in the 1970s and another one 1990 to 95 to 2005. And I do visitation for both of them. And I identified with Betsy because I have not been obviously doing visitation for the last 6 months and have written lots of notes and made lots of phone calls to our shut-in members at both of the churches. So one of the things I'm involved with here in Ashland is right now I'm president of the board of the Ashland Symphony Orchestra. We're the smallest town in the country that has its own paid symphony. And of course, because of COVID, we have had to make enormous adjustments this year, canceling our season. And somebody talked about being in arts and management, and I'm getting a crash course in that right now. So one of the things that I have to say about Euclid High School is I am extraordinarily grateful for the education I got there, because many of the things that are meaningful to me in life now, I learned there. And I don't know how many of you took Bill Lindsay's Survey of Western Civilization class our senior year, and we had art appreciation on Thursday afternoon with Mr. Alt, I think his name was, and we had music appreciation on Friday afternoon with Sam, the choir director, whose last name I can't remember. But the whole introduction to art and music have been lifelong interests for me. So really grateful for the way that Euclid High School helped shape and direct my life. And it's so good to see all of you. Just really great. And thank you to Connie, to Chuck, to the women that keep at this, keeping us glued together even when we're apart. So thanks to all of you, and bless you all.
Thank you, Tom. All right, where are we at now? Let's see. All right, how about Ken?
Yeah, I'm out here in Shoreview, Minnesota, which is a suburb of the Twin Cities. I've been here for quite a while. What am I doing now? Do a lot of volunteer work, even with the COVID. I'm still doing Zoom with like adult education, which is English language learners and people that are trying to get their GEDs, helping them out. My other volunteer work, working with special needs kids in pool and exercise, that's on hold. Hope to start that up pretty soon. My Rotary group, we are very actively working on fundraisers to help people that have been affected by COVID, especially with like food and housing needs. So we've formed a foundation and raising money and passing out the other nonprofits so we can help all the people that have problems. So that's basically what I've been working on. And I really want to thank Connie and Chuck for putting this together. The last time I was around was like the 50-year reunion. I made it to that, but I haven't made any of the picnics. So this has worked out great, and nice seeing everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Ken. All right, it's Art. There you go, you're on, you're up.
All right, I have to go in the other room. Art got a visitor, so hold on one second. I need to interrupt. Sorry, guys. Okay.
Hey, Art.
Hello, Art. Who are we talking to?
Yeah, we got a
Hello,
whole class here.
hello, everyone. What?
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Art.
Hello. Talk.
Me to talk, which is never a problem, right? Okay, I'm Marcia Newman. I'm Art's wife. And I'll give you some rundown on Art, and then he can say goodbye. So I'm going to sit right here. Sorry, this is complicated today. We've been dealing with COVID in a very unique way. We live in Aurora. I'll start at the beginning. Am I doing the right thing here, Chuck?
Yeah, you're good.
I think I'm on.
You're
Okay,
good.
I'm Marcia Newman. Art and I have been married for 30 years. We have such great memories of our orchestra, Art Company Orchestra. We're a 12-piece playing the 50th reunion, which has been a while now already.
Yep.
But we live in Aurora, Ohio. Art graduated Euclid and went to Baldwin Wallace Conservatory and got his bachelor's in woodwinds and taught for a while and toured a while and did some stuff, and then actually transferred into banking for his career and worked at Central National Bank in Cleveland and became, president of retail banking, and then kind of jumped ponds and started selling refrigeration, and then started selling scan systems when they were a brand new thing. And from there, he started selling mainframe computers and then software and consulting services and a whole bunch of stuff, and then retired. And throughout all of that, he's always had a band playing in clubs. And then we somehow met. I'm an event planner and a vocalist. I was working at a place called Swingo's Keg and Quarter, and he was the bank manager around the corner, but I didn't know that for many, many years. So finally, good fortune brought us together, and we've had a very, very happy marriage. Art kind of went full circle, got out of that business and retired, and has been teaching music, the substitute music teacher in a lot of area school systems around Aurora, where we live. And we have had the band for the entire length of our marriage, kind of met putting that together, and we've been very happy. Unfortunately, COVID happened, and I lost my job as an event planner. I'm a wedding and event sales planner and designer, so that went away really quickly, as did all of our gigs, one by one. So it's dried up everywhere. And God had some other plans in mind for us during COVID. Art was diagnosed with liver cancer that has metastasized just about everywhere. So we're making the best of it, as you might imagine. But this is awesome. And him being able to see some of his buds has been really awesome today. I didn't think I could get this to work. I don't have a lot of faith in my Zoom capabilities. We tried doing some music lessons on Zoom, and it was kind of horrible. But anyway, so we've had a rough summer, but we're dealing with it. God had a hand in it. Here I am at home without my job, but able to spend all kinds of great time with Art. And we have a whole parade of people coming in and out of here to see their buddy and see their relative. So he's got a visitor right now, but so that's what's going on with Art. He's got some rough days ahead, but go Panthers. And he's wearing a blue shirt today. And we're doing well, and we're making the most of it. But I'm really grateful for all the picnics that I have been to with you guys, and have gotten to know a lot of you, and good to finally see the faces of people I've heard about for 32 years. So anyway, carry on, and I'll let Art say a quick goodbye. And I wish you all well, and thank you for the cards we've gotten and all the prayers and so forth. So we're gonna need them. Rough gig. So anyway, I'll let him say goodbye really quickly. It's nap time. Okay.
Hey, thanks for inviting me.
Good to see you again, Art.
Take
Thank
care,
you.
guys.
Thanks, Marcia. Okay, how about John?
Thank you.
You're on, John. You're on.
Hey, hi everybody. It's good to see a lot of these people. Boy, I missed having the get together this year. The weather here today is great, 64 degrees, partly sunny, light breeze. So it would have been a perfect weather to be together at the park. Hopefully we'll get together next year. I already have it marked on the calendar for the 13th of September.
Thank the
And
committee.
just hoping to see everybody here again, as many as we can get in here. And we can swap stories again and shake hands and give each other a hug and carry on. And again, I'd like to thank all the class members that have put this together, all of you taking time today to get together and say hi. Appreciate it. We'll see you next year.
One thing. Thanks, John. Yeah, let's go to Richard. All right,
Hi,
you're
everybody.
up.
Can you hear me?
Go.
Can you hear me, everybody?
Yeah,
Yes.
we hear you.
Hi. Nice to see everybody here. We live out here in Petaluma, California, which is about 40 miles north of San Francisco. And I made a journey around the country different times. I lived in a hippie commune, the farm in Summertown, Tennessee. I was up in Nashville for a while. And lived outside of Miami in Coconut Grove and Mobile, Alabama, doing bookkeeping most of this time. And then moved to San Francisco, where my wife was from. And now we live in Petaluma, which is about 40 miles north of San Francisco. And I did cost accounting for a number of businesses, nonprofits mostly over the years, probably for, the last 30, 40 years there. And, retired for the last 10 years almost. So, enjoying life. And I got 4 kids and 7 grandkids. Just had a grandkid recently, a new one. And one of my kids lives in Norway. He married a girl that he met while he was doing a road trip, traveling. And they moved to Norway and they have kids there. And we visited there before, and that was fun. And otherwise, we're doing okay. We got a little garden out in the backyard. And my wife, she's a good artist. She's done paintings and clothing, and and she helps with, and we do gardening, and she's a good cook, and so we enjoy that. And we do a little traveling, not as much as we used to. We've gone to my wife's relatives were from Mexico on her mom's side, so we've gone to there and visited in Mexico sometimes, and that was kind of fun. Otherwise, everything else is pretty good. It's interesting a little with memory issues a little bit with that. It's happened over the last year or two. That kind of shocking, because all of a sudden you think, oh, I got a great memory, and then I can't. I lost in a city street like a few blocks from where I live. I think, oh, that's kind of weird. But I got over that. Doing okay with that. I just don't go out in the dark and cloudy night and something like that by myself. Otherwise, we're doing fine, and enjoy meeting everybody and seeing everybody here again. It's been a while for sure, right? I went to Ohio State there after a while, and a couple of years there, and went in Cleveland. I went to community college there for just a little bit and worked in Cleveland, and went to the West Coast back in the 60s, and then worked from there. Met my wife there, so everything's pretty good. Appreciate being able to see everybody. Hope everybody's staying healthy and happy, and take care. Okay.
Thanks, Richard. Okay, let's see. Judy, are you there?
Okay. I've lived after I graduated from Euclid, I went to Bowling Green, and then started teaching. I've taught for 33 years in Walled Lake. Been retired 21 years, and have traveled all over the world. And now I can't travel much anymore because I have really bad back issues, but I still manage to get around, walk a couple miles every day, and have a pretty good life when all things are said and done. So that's my story.
Oh, there's Mary.
Hi, Euclid friends and classmates. We're sorry that we can't be on the Zoom at a normal time, but we're out in Zion National Park glamping. We have a tent, but it has a king-size bed. We've had a great day at Zion Park, and we're going to Bryce tomorrow. We hope to see you next year in the cabins, and hope you're all safe and healthy. Bye-bye.
Hey Panthers, Norm Beakey here. Mary and I are on a national park tour on our way down to Arizona for the winter. Just wanted to wish everyone the best, stay safe, and sorry we couldn't be there for the reunion. Sorry nobody could be there for the reunion. It's always better to see people in person. But next year in the cabins.
Okay. All right. I think we got everybody now. Okay, now we've got a little video here that was sent to me by one of our classmates, Carlo Orlando. Some of you may not care for this, and I tell you, once you watch this and listen to the music, it's going to be burnt into your brain for some time. So give me a second here, and I'm going to bring this video up.
No.
Okay, let's watch this little video that Carlo sent. Alrighty then.
Hey.
It's one of those things you just can't unsee.
Or which you had never seen to begin with.
Right.
Thanks.
Hey Chuck, who was Moto 4?
Yeah, who is Moto 4?
That I don't know. I was going to. Oh, it's Judy Shepard.
No, it's not.
It might
be because I'm on two different devices.
Are you
Connie?
Oh, it's Connie.
Connie.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Okay.
She went to get her hair done.
I thought it was Judy. Okay. I'm sorry.
No, Judy's picture never came on.
Right. Okay.
I'm on two different devices here, and neither one of them can I get a picture. I can see you guys. You guys can't see me.
2 times nothing is still nothing.
Oh, thank you, my brother.
That was nice.
I learned that at Euclid High School. I didn't know that until I went to Euclid High School.
Mathematics 101.
Yeah. I have a few other courses I had just as much fun in.
And we don't want to know what they are.
Yeah.
Or worse.
Spanish, chemistry.
What was his name?
Which one?
Chemistry and what? We were in short school, 9th grade.
The chemistry guy was really old. I can't remember.
It's Dr. Mr. K.
Mr. K was like 100 years old at the time.
Oh, I know.
It was a female.
Our junior year, he was out for about 3 months with illness.
Uh-huh.
And I always thought he was such a mean guy. And somebody told us he was having trouble with his sympathetic nervous system.
Oh.
We said we didn't.
Cariella was.
I remember when I took that course, and I struggled to get a C. I took the midterm, and for some unknown reason, I got a B. So what does he do the second half of the year? He rearranges your lab partners. So I got some guy who had a D, who was my lab partner, just dragged me back down again.
Sounds like it got me. I don't know.
No,
one of my lab partners was Ted Skeeby. Do you guys remember him?
Oh yeah, the Cleveland Indians
bat boy.
Cleveland Indians bat boy.
Bat boy.
Yes.
He was another one of our lab partners in Mr. K's class.
Look, somebody's
getting a phone call.
Yeah.
One ringing. Hey,
Take
care of that.
Did any of you have Don Eisen for an English teacher?
No. I had Miss Sweet.
Yes, and I think we both got thrown out of his class one time.
Oh, David, that was Mr. Smith.
Well, anyway.
And I had to go stand in the hall because we were talking, and it was our senior year, and we were mightily offended.
Granville Barker Smith?
Yes.
Yeah, GBS, George Bernard Shaw. He was so proud of that. Yeah. Oh, dear.
Judy Sweet.
Yeah.
Our son.
Junior, senior.
You know, a person that was kind of formidable, but really taught me to love the English language is Miss Campbell. Anybody have Miss Campbell for 10th grade English?
Our son went to Euclid High School, and when I saw his schedule come in the fall, I saw he was going to go Judy Sweet. I had that or something. I didn't say anything to him. And when he came home from the first day of school, he said, English teacher said, your mother sat right there. I said, oh, you're not.
She used to tell my son tales out of school, I'll tell you what. She always talked to my son. Judy Sweet. Always talked to my son and passed along some tales out of school. So I told him.
Beulah Wilson?
Wilson.
Beulah Wilson? Beulah Wilson?
My homeroom teacher. Math.
Algebra, yeah.
Algebra. I still don't know what a logarithm is.
You may just stay after school.
I don't know what one of those is.
Turn me off about math.
Probably the driest teacher I have ever had in any subject anywhere.
Algebra guy.
Paul, you said that you were at the church in Aurora.
Yes.
Your pastor was a former student of mine.
I thought so, yeah. Derek Hickman. Mardy? Good.
Yes, really?
I missed that?
Derek.
Yes.
I said he's a former student of mine from Ashland Seminary.
Right.
I baptized their oldest son.
Oh, you did, huh? Okay.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, good. We'll tell him we saw you.
My grandchildren.
Right, Marcia?
Right, Paul, yeah.
Right.
Art and I were married at that church. We belong to that church, too. That's interesting, Tom.
Well, I'm going to say goodbye. Have a great weekend.
Yeah, I think we're going to wrap this up right now.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks again, Chuck.
Good.
Thanks again, Chuck.
Thanks, Chuck.
Chuck, thank you. Thank you, Chuck. Thank you,
Chuck.
Committee.
Bye-bye, thank you.
Thanks a lot. Nice to see all you guys.
Next year for sure.
Next year.
Yeah, we'll see you. All right, bye-bye.
Now we have to get up.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.